Hi, John Lay from Talented Learning here. Welcome back to our Executive Briefing series. On this series, we're fortunate enough to travel around the world virtually, meeting with the best and the most innovative learning technology and learning system providers in the world. And so today's stop is with Cypher Learning, and we're here today with Cypher Learning CEO Graham Glass. And Graham is going to introduce the business and show us a demo of their Matrix LMS product. Graham, all yours.
Okay, well, my name is Graham Glass. I'm the CEO of Cypher Learning. We sell a cloud-hosted learning platform, which is used by schools, universities, and businesses around the world. It was founded back in 2009. Why did I found it? Well, I actually used to be a professor of computer science at UT Dallas, where I absolutely loved teaching. And then after leaving that position, I founded a professional training company, training in industry. So I really enjoy education. It's kind of in my blood, but I'm also a technologist. I love cloud computing. My previous company was a web services company, which sold to Web Methods. So I made some decent money, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to do the intersection of education and computer science, cloud hosted learning platform. A few things that are interesting about us. First of all, most companies are either in the business space or in the, say, K through 20 space, but we figured out how to create a single underlying platform that we call the Cypher Learning Platform. And then we have three branded versions of it. So one is called Neo, which is our platform for schools and universities. And Neo competes against products like Canvas and Blackboard. We have a product called Matrix, which is our learning management system for businesses. And that competes against products like Litmos and Docebo. And then we have a platform called Indie, which is a smaller featured platform, which is for individuals who want to make money by monetizing their skills. And Indie competes against products like Teachable and Ukajabi. So over the last 10 years, we've expanded. We're in 12 countries around the world. We have salespeople speaking all the various languages of their local customers. And we're really focused on having a beautiful platform, very comprehensive, and a lot of rapid innovation. So that's just a little bit about what we do.
That's really interesting. It's odd to see an organization try to tackle both the K through 20 and the business side. And
It is, yeah.
And why'd you decide to do that, and how's that working out? Have
well,
you figured out the nuances of both?
Yeah, that's a good question. I used to ask myself that question many times. It's very, very hard to achieve that, especially if you want to be world class in more than one category, because universities have an incredible number of features in terms of LTI standards and pre-built curriculum and grade books and all that kind of stuff that businesses don't care about. Businesses care about e-commerce and compliance support and third-party content catalogs. So if you want to, you really have to have it all in order to win in the marketplace. Now, the reason that I did it is because, number one, I actually love teaching in both K through 20 and in business. And a lot of the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that build a product that they themselves want. So in one sense, my primary target is myself. I want to build a product that I already wished I had. But secondly, I figured that if you achieve it, the economies of scale are massive because you have one engineering team, one sales team, one marketing team, and to go into the multiple sectors. So from a pure practical sales perspective, K through 20 sales cycles tend to be quite cyclic, whereas business cycles do not. So the nice thing about a salesperson selling Neo and Matrix is they can sell both products all day long. It's not feast or famine. So I would say, primarily driven just by my love of both areas, but also financially driven, and that is it will allow us to create, I think, a very, very successful company.
Interesting. Is there common functionality, or what percentage do you think is common functionality between the two systems?
I mean, thank goodness it's about 80%.
Is it really?
So if you look at, how you build a course or a learning path or the resources catalog, that's all pretty much the same. And there's about a 20%, variance between the platforms, but those 20% are non-trivial. They're actually more than 20% of the effort. But one very cool thing, I'll give you one example. Let's just take gamification. So gamification is something that was demanded way more by business users than K through 20, which is completely the opposite of what you'd expect. You think of gamification, little kids having fun, but no, it's massively driven by Matrix. But businesses want gamification to be very sophisticated. It's not like, oh, you get a badge at the end of the course. They want automation rules. You get a badge if this and this and this condition are met. You get an e-commerce coupon if you do this, which gives you a 20% discount. So what we did was we built automation-based gamification for Matrix, but because we have one platform, we simultaneously released it for Indie and Neo, and now it's become one of Neo's best features. So even though there are some areas which are more in demand in one than the other, what we found is when you add them into one, there's actually a differentiator in the other. One other simple example is e-commerce, because more and more universities are actually interested in selling their courses internationally. And very few of our K through 20 competitors have an integrated e-commerce catalog with subscriptions and everything else. We have it because of Matrix, boom, instantly makes Neo more competitive.
Wow, outstanding, outstanding. Inside the corporate sector, is there any particular areas or industries or use case applications that you specialize in?
Well, there is one particular case that I'll go into a sec, but I will say, generally speaking, Matrix is a general purpose platform which is used by associations, internal training, external training, self-paced courses, compliance. So it's designed to fulfill those roles very, very nicely. But the one area that we really excel is as a platform for content providers. And so here's the scenario. Let's just say that you are a business and you've created a catalog of 10,000 courses, and your end users, let's just say, are universities or other businesses. So what you want to be able to do is to have a resources area where you have the templates and the setup for the courses. Then you want all of your end customers to have their own branded portals where their users and their administrators can log in, where they can see a subset of the catalog, which can be based on visibility filters, and where they can use that content, but still primarily centrally managed by the creator of the content. But in addition, where the creators can go into the templates, make 100 edits, moving modules around, changing typos, and hit synchronize, and boom, instantly pushing all of those synchronizations to 20,000 plus users. We're the only platform that we know of that actually does that. It wasn't by design. It was because we had a very large customer in the Philippines years ago. And once we added all that functionality, all these other started content providers go, wow, this is just an incredible way for us to deliver the courses to the end user. So that is an area that we have a 100% unique solution that nobody else does.
Oh, step back. Guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I'll have to edit that piece out and do another.
No problem.
Hopefully lost sound for a second. Okay. Cool. Well, that's neat. That's
Yes.
neat. That sounds pretty powerful. Any name dropping or no?
Can I? Yeah. Well, I will say so. We've just started to announce a global partnership with Dell. So, and I say this just because there are public YouTube videos about this partnership. And the general idea is that Dell is the largest manufacturer of education hardware in the world. When they go after large deals, those deals normally require a complete solution. It's not just hardware. These deals are normally hardware plus learning platform plus content. And so Dell reviewed all the platforms out there, and they chose us as the best fit for Dell. And so now our product, our learning platform, is getting pulled into a lot of deals around the world through our partnership with Dell. So it's a really good fit. It makes total sense for everyone involved. But that is something that we haven't done a press release yet, but it's going to happen quite soon. But it is somewhat public knowledge.
Here it first at Talented Learning. All right. Well, that's great. That's great. Can we take a look at it?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do, I think I need to share my screen. There we go. Share my screen, application window.
Not your passport file.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just going to do this one thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first of all, can you see my screen okay? I just want to make sure.
I can.
Okay, great. So this is a demo site. This is the visitor portal. So before I log in, you can create a beautiful drag and drop, through drag and drop beautiful visitor portal, or you can blend it with your own. A lot of people will have the public facing catalog. So if you're selling courses, this allows the users to click around, take a look at what courses are available. And our e-commerce system is multi-currency, supports subscriptions, multiple gateways. So it's quite a comprehensive solution for that kind of thing. But I'm going to focus primarily on the learner experience and the administrator experience.
Okay.
So firstly, I'm going to log on as Sally. And this is what a learner will see when they first log in. Now, because it's a demo, I've enabled like almost every feature. So you can strip this down to a few tabs if you want for use in the kindergarten, or if you're a bank and you're a power user, you can enable almost everything. But what I'll do, I'll give you a very quick high-level tour, and then I'll focus on what an individual course looks like. But one thing I want to draw your attention to, it's a unique feature to us, and it was inspired by what's going on with the virus and lockdown. You see on this particular title, there's this little glowing green button. And what that means is it means that there is activity going on in that course. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to create a sense of community. So when you log into the LMS, you don't feel like it's just this, dead zone, that there's actually things happening. And if I click on this, you'll actually see in the upper right hand here, every second or so, you get a little update about what's going on in this particular course. And you can even see which particular modules are currently active. So it's a little thing, but it does go a long way to get people feeling that they're engaged in a community and not just sitting here on their own behind a screen. Now, as far as the learner interface goes, we really try and make this beautiful. It sounds a bit cheesy, but we wanted it to be kind of like the Apple of LMS. So there's beautiful imagery everywhere. In this case, here are the courses that I'm in. Some are required for compliance, some are not. Some are self-paced, some are instructor-ed. Here are groups, and it's become more and more common these days to use groups for things like coaching. So you can assign mentors to people. Mentors can do video coaching. You can even use our automation system so that when somebody completes a course, they're automatically added to a group. There's an awards area, and we've got a beautiful library of badges. You can create your own badges, create your own branded certificates. A modern streamable news feed. One of the things that we're really into, more so than virtually any other business LMS, is competency-based learning. Partly based on my own preference, and partly because I think that is the key to personalized self-directed learning. So for example, what I'm seeing here is that there are three main areas that right now I'm focused on as a learner: branding, design basics, and graphic design. And within design basics, here are the various competencies that are being taught and measured by multiple different courses. And as I go through those courses, the system is basically aggregating my mastery so I can see exactly where I am. So according to this, I'm 90% of the way to mastering design basics. And of course, you can associate these competencies with job titles. So if you have a particular job, you might move towards competency of everything that you're meant to have in that job. And then compliance is basically, here are the courses that you have to do. So John, before I step into a couple more areas, do you have any questions about what I showed you in the learner dashboard area?
I do. It is indeed beautiful, really, really slick and
Thanks.
nice, clean interface. I really like it. Where do the competencies come from?
So those are ones that are either provided by yourself or provided by us. So for example, in our Neo platform, we've uploaded a lot of competencies from various standards around the world. So whether it's Common Core Mathematics or California Science Curriculum or curriculum in the Philippines. But of course, you can create your own competency hierarchy. So you can either enter it through our user interface, or if you have it in a spreadsheet format, you can upload it to a spreadsheet. Those competencies then appear in our resources catalog, and instructors can import one or more competencies into a course, and then you can start tagging your assessments, your modules, your questions, virtually anything that can be tagged with competencies, and that's rolled up into the aggregated mastery calculation.
Excellent, excellent. And adaptive learning based on competency, is that?
Yeah, so we have an unusually rich form of adaptive learning through something called automation. So I'll show you automation a little bit more in a minute, but the general concept of automation is throughout the platform, you can add rules that say when a certain thing that happens, automatically do X. So a simple one would be when you complete the course, you get a certificate of completion. A slightly more sophisticated one could be when you finish module 2, give them 100 points towards a game. An even more sophisticated one would be to say, if you drop below 20% mastery in a certain competency for more than 2 days, automatically alert the instructor and automatically send the learner a link to a recommended resource to get better at that particular competency. So our automation spans all the way from very, very simple stuff to very sophisticated. In fact, one of the recent features we added is something called content filters. So you can say only show this module to a user if they have a particular job title, or if they are interested in a certain topic, or if they've completed a previous module. So you can dynamically show and hide almost every aspect of a course based on the history of the learner.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Kind of like a CRM.
Yeah, a few other things I mentioned, hover and click email integration, hover and click notifications, a sophisticated color-coded calendar, obviously built in e-commerce. Put a lot of effort into the user profiles. So a few things which are somewhat unique. We now support the concept of public profiles. So if a user wants to, they can enable a public profile, which can be seen by obviously the public, which has certificates they want to share, badges they want to share. They can enable messaging if they want. And this is quite popular with universities who want their students to be able to showcase the things that they've done in the university. But at a glance, I can see everything about you, where you're enrolled, the groups that you're enrolled with, groups you've completed. So it's a really nice way to kind of navigate the system. Obviously, whether or not you have the course catalog publicly, there is a private one you can enable. And all the items in the catalog, which can be courses, learning paths, downloadable digital media like videos, subscriptions, bundles, all of those things have something called visibility filters. So you can control to a very fine degree who sees what particular courses. Now I'm just going to quickly pop into a course. So this is graphic design fundamentals. And rather than it just being a dry kind of tabular view, once again, we try and make this look really beautiful. So for every module, there is a tile. These tiles are informational, so they'll show you whether you get points and badges, for example. And if I go into a particular module, here is what a typical piece of content looks like. So, we try and make it a look like you're reading a book. And as you go through the course, if you want to, you can just kind of click through. This is an assignment. We have 12 different kinds of assignment built into our system. So it's not just a simple quiz or an essay. You can have really sophisticated assessment types. And in a minute, I'm hoping it's going to give me a badge or something. But there we go. So one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to make the system really fun for the learner. So when automation triggers things like you get points, you get a certificate, something like that, then these things will actually automatically pop up to the user as they go, which makes courses really good fun. And that's one of the things that we've been providing seminars on, is how do you keep students engaged when so many of them are now offline? And by using automation and gamification and that kind of technique, it's really fun for the user. So I can see 6 points until I'm beginner. I've got one of the 18 possible badges. Here's the leaderboard. You can even have team games where you're competing as teams. And we have received very strong feedback from our customers that this definitely works. You might think it's childish, but people actually really enjoy moving up the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
A few other things just about courses I'll just mention. Was a good one. Mastery. Where are you, Mastery? Huh? Oh, here we go. As I mentioned, we're really into competency-based learning. This particular student, I actually reset it, so he hasn't got any. She hasn't got any competencies yet. But generally speaking, as you go through the course and you get various measurements taken on the competencies, these all start to fill in red, green, blue. You can see how you're doing. And this is the course view of your competencies. But as I mentioned, in your dashboard, you also get the aggregated view, which means that as you go through courses and span them, they all kind of add up. Now, before I flip into the administrator view, because I know I don't have too much time, do you have any questions about what you've seen so far from a learner's view of a course?
No, it's continuing my comments. It looks really good and clean and easy to use for a user.
Oh, thanks.
Profiles are really nice. The gamification pieces are nice. Yeah, looking good.
Thank you. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in as an administrator. And don't forget, I'm going to show you a sneak peek about something coming out quite soon. I don't want to forget that. I've forgotten before. It's a bit embarrassing. So from the administrator's perspective, the kind of things that are fairly noticeable, first of all, is the admin dashboard. So we've got a beautiful drag and drop widget system where we have a whole lot of pre-built widgets, and you can define your own custom widgets, including widgets that actually tie in real time to our ad hoc reporting system. So for example, if somebody creates an ad hoc report, in this case, it's showing you a breakdown of which department various people are in. Not only can you run it as a ad hoc report, but you can embed it in the widget so that every time you log in, you get a real-time display of what's going on in that particular aspect. And we have widgets for the administrative views. If I go into a course, this is what an instructor's dashboard is. So the instructor can see mastery over time, scores over time, news groups, visits over time. So it's a really nice way to get a snapshot of all the important stuff depending on your view. A few other things I mentioned that are particular strengths of ours. Automation is a huge thing for us. And I'll give you a few examples of automation. So in this particular case, the administrator is also in courses. So here is the course that you saw earlier. Notice, by the way, that the instructor is getting non-anonymous information about everything in the course. This actually makes being an instructor really good fun because you can log in your course and you can see everything that's going on in your course. You can see glowing, pulsing things over all the modules that are currently really popular. Got to say, instructors are human and we really enjoy noticing people enjoy our content. Now, to give you an idea of automation, let's just say I go into the admin panel and I go to completion. So this is where I can define things like what's the sequencing replied in the course, are certain things auto-completed. But one of the areas of automation is completion actions. And the way that automation works is that anywhere in the system, you can see one of these kind of areas. You can click here. And here's the palette of actions. So for example, I can dynamically hide or show, lock or unlock content. And that allows you to reveal advanced content if you're doing really good, or reveal remedial content if you're not doing good. You can award badges, certificates, e-commerce coupons, points. You can automatically enroll people into other courses or learning paths or groups. Or you can do things like invoke an XAPI tuple, do a webhook. We're about to release a message queue integration, so you can fire off a message queue event when something like this happens. But there are probably at least 50 areas in our site where you can add automation, whether it's completing a module, completing a quiz, getting over a certain amount in the quiz, creating an account, adding someone to a group. You get the general idea. and our customers are constantly coming up with new hooks for automation. So I'll give you one simple example. Someone said, I want to add an automation hook for wait lists. So when you're added to a wait list, I can trigger an action like contact your manager and ask him to approve you. So automation is one of the really shining areas of Matrix. It allows you to do a lot of very cool things. So before I show you a few other more advanced features, do you have any questions about what you've seen so far from the admin view?
I never saw Zapier dashboard. What's that showing you? Just the number of calls or pushes?
Yeah, well, in this case, this is the instructor dashboard. So this is the number of learners that are in the course. These are the number of visits to the course.
On the screen before this, I think I saw a Zapier.
Yeah. So here's something that I was actually about to show you, but now's a good time. One of the things that oftentimes surprises people about our system are the sheer number of built-in integrations. So when the administrator goes to the App Center, the general idea is you can enable or disable almost any feature of our platform. So as I say, if you're using Neo in a kindergarten, you need almost nothing. If you're a super user in a bank, you want almost everything. So whether it's that dynamic activity display, adaptive learning, I won't go through them all, but I'll just give you a feel. Auth0, comment chat, e-commerce system, Google Fonts, Google Drive, Google Meets, H5P support, job titles, Kaltura integration, LDAP, LTI, MailChimp, MathJax, MS Teams, OneDrive. It just kind of goes on. Panopto goes on and on and on and on. And the integrations themselves are all built in at no extra charge. So obviously we don't give you a free license to turn it in, but you can integrate with almost anything through Zapier. And so when people see the number of integrations, it really helps them to get up and running pretty quickly.
Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. And when you deploy one of those integrations, administratively, what happens? That just is.
Yeah, so let's just say, for example, that I connect MailChimp. So then when you hover over admin, MailChimp will appear here. So whatever you install gets its own little admin panel. And when you go to it, it'll have whatever tabs are necessary specifically for MailChimp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So your admin dashboard can be as simple or as complicated as you like. And similarly, when you install certain things, widgets automatically appear as well. So if you install Zapier, then the Zapier widget automatically goes there by default. Hey, but if you don't want it, no problem. Go into the widget editor and drag Zapier off and say save, and then you're done.
Mm-hmm. So based on what I'm seeing, then you could use your automation rules to track those 50 different areas of things that are happening, put people in group, push them to MailChimp and put them inside a campaign based on a whole factor,
Exactly. So everything, the general idea is that it's almost like a mini Zapier built into our system.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, people will say things like, hey, if you finish a particular component of a learning path, then automatically roll you to the next component of that learning path, so you don't have to do it yourself. Or people who are selling courses will say, when you complete a certain course, automatically congratulate the user, give a video congratulations, and also give them a 20% e-commerce coupon towards another course, which is the next natural step in their learning progression.
Good stuff. This is great.
A few other things I'm just going to point out, and then I don't want to forget the cool preview. Organizations, this is a very popular feature. So whether you're a school district with 30 schools, or whether you are a massive campus with 100 sub-campuses, or we've got businesses where they've got like banks with branches all around the world, you can create organizations and hierarchical organizational structures so that certain people can only see certain things in the system. So organizations is a really important thing, and our system has unlimited organizations as part of the basic price. So it's not something that, oh, every time you add another organization, the cost of the system goes up. Resources catalog, every time you upload anything into our system, whether it's competencies, digital badges, content templates. All of these things are nicely organized for reuse. And you can control the visibility. This is only for my organization. This is for the entire site. This is just for my personal use. And I won't go into great detail, but we've got a very nice ad hoc reporting system. So I'm not even gonna, there's not enough time for me to actually build one. But suffice to say, it's a very powerful tool where you can create the columns you want to report on, filters, groupings, summaries, organizations, graphical charts. So it's really common for people to set up ad hoc reports that might run automatically every Friday, emails them to certain people, and maybe embed them in a widget as well for convenience. So before I show you the cool preview, are there any questions based on this very high-level tour of the admin view?
I mean, it's a softball question, but I'm assuming you can schedule those reports and distribute them to all the different people in a million different ways.
And you can say once a day, every Friday, the third Wednesday of each month. It's very easy to schedule reports.
All right, let's see the special stuff.
Okay, now here's the special stuff. So the reason I mentioned earlier, the reason that I founded the company is because I really wanted to do something innovative. And I'm the kind of guy I always used to watch Star Trek. I love artificial intelligence. I love sci-fi. So we are a big believer philosophically that the future of learning is going to be personalized, self-directed learning. So the general idea is the system will kind of learn what interests you, what you need to learn, and then will actually provide assistance through your learning process. So we've been working on a whole bunch of AI integration and learning goals, etc., which is coming soon. And so I just wanted to show you, give you a little tidbit, a little preview of what this might look like. So I just activated this little test demo mode. And the first thing you'll see here is this new recommendations box. And the recommendations box is basically based on what you're doing and what you want. Here are things that can get you to that particular goal. Similarly, we're going to allow you to add one or more learning goals to the system. And these goals can be things like, I want to get all the mastery for a particular job title. So let's just say you're a digital marketing assistant, but you want to become digital marketing manager. So you'll be able to say in the goal section, one of my goals is this particular job. That job has competencies already associated with it. And then it will automatically start recommending ways for you to achieve that. So in this particular case, if I want to be a graphic designer, here are recommendations, things that you can do, along with here's how they helped other people. You can even click on a particular goal and it gives you an entire dashboard just for this goal. All the competencies, how you're doing, how close you are to completion, completion status, how much time you've spent on this, the history of things that you did, the recommendations, and also you can do a pop quiz to automatically create a randomized set of quiz based on these competencies, or you can interact with the community of all the other people who are also interested in the same competency. And one of the things that we're about to release as well is a lot of third-party content integration. So for example, here is our Go1 integration. So in addition to your own courses, these are the courses that you've built, you'll have access to thousands of courses through Go1, thousands of courses through Udemy, and then very soon also LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, edX, Open Sesame. And then, so as you're going towards your particular learning goals, you will have all of that third-party content available to you. So this is just like a sneak peek, but it's all about AI recommendations moving towards the nirvana of the personalized, self-directed learning.
Outstanding. Love it.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is what keeps us super motivated. One of the things that's interesting about the company is I would say over 50% of our team also used to be educators. So most of our sales team used to be educators. A lot of our marketing and sales team used to be educators. Obviously, I'm an educator. I founded the company. So a lot of us are kind of on the same page in terms of where we want to see this company going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shows. Very interesting. So let me play
Oh,
devil's advocate for a second.
sure.
This is powerful. What's it take to set it up?
Uh, that's actually quite easy. I'll give you, so I'm going to give you an actual empirical example from a few weeks ago.
Yep.
This is the case for a university, but it's very similar with businesses. So we had a university with almost 40,000 students that approached us on Thursday. And they said, we're having a lot of problems with our Moodle system. It's crashing, it's overloaded, we don't know what's the problem. And they were panicking because they were about to launch their next semester. So they said, if you can migrate 6,000 Moodle courses and get all the accounts done and ready by Monday, remember this is on Thursday, then you've got a deal. And we actually did it.
Well,
And I will say, to be honest, there were a few Moodle courses that we had to tweak a little bit afterwards, but we have a team of like 30 people just working on course migration. We have all the engineers got involved to do little tweaks, and literally, it's probably one of the fastest migrations ever. So it's a self-service site. You can actually go to matrixlms.com and click start and just launch your site straight from there with like zero intervention. But a lot of people will say, well, can you give us a few hours of training, this kind of thing. But we've tried to make the system so intuitive that most of the time you don't even need to read the help system.
So am I hearing you right? That organizations are setting this up without any services, just
Yeah,
from a self-service way?
yeah. It's so the way our system is priced is that we provide white glove onboarding. So we have a package which is we'll get our design team to work with you on the graphic design for your site, the custom graphics, for training the instructors, for helping you with content creation, for helping course migration. We've got that whole package for people who want it. But I would say at least 50% of our customers, literally, they just do it from scratch. It's not that hard. I personally wish more customers would do the white gloves because I think we could actually make their sites a bit more visually attractive. But it's not something that we require anyone to do. So there's no like mandatory setup fee, for example.
Well, that's really interesting. And contracts are what? If that's the case, month to month then, or year to year?
Yeah, so we offer month to month for smaller sites. Larger sites will typically go yearly or multi-yearly. So all of the big customers that are 10,000 users plus, that they're all like 2 or 3 year yearly contracts, just because we get they do their homework, they love our system, and they get a nice discount. But if somebody is like a smaller business and they don't want to pay upfront charges, they want to go monthly, they can just sign up monthly credit card, and it is what it is.
Well, that makes sense. If you could name the top 3 things that you want the audience to remember about this last hour, or about yourselves rather, what would that be?
I would say, the making this platform beautiful, making it innovative, and I would say the last thing, which just springed into my mind, is we're actually a really friendly, nice company to work with. And then I don't know why that popped up, but from what we hear, that's not always the case. So when customers come to us with problems or they want to negotiate deals or whatever, they find us to be very pleasant to work with. So I think we are actually a great partner.
Outstanding. Well, there's some great reasons. I see a lot of systems as you can imagine, and this is really nice.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Sharp. It's comprehensive. It's deep. The just little things that how the third-party integrations show up on the admin, but it looks clean.
Yeah.
That's so little, but normally it's all over.
It does, and it takes a lot of work to do that. The number of experiments that you have to do to get just the right thing. Yeah. And I will say we're constantly improving our site. I'm one of those. I'm a technical founder, so I'm not a fantastic sales guy, a fantastic marketing person. I'm really a product guy, and I will sit down at least half an hour to 1 hour a day, just going through the site, finding little areas that we can improve. So I'm a big believer in not just adding new stuff, but going back and constantly improving the existing functionality.
How novel. No, seriously, I'm speaking in jest, but a lot of organizations don't do that. It's a matter of saying on your site that yes, we have gamification, and then they might not circle back for years to, improve
Yeah, I
what
know.
they rolled out on the first piece because it's so thin across all those areas.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
just
we've actually noticed that we do a
use
lot of
other.
competitive analyses, and we'll see,
Mm,
oh, gamification, and I go in to try it. It's like, this is like nothing. It's like you get a badge at the end of the course, and that's it.
uh-huh.
And that's one of the benefits because we build our products for ourselves. As I mentioned, a lot of the sales team are actually used to be educators. So we kind of have quite a high standard of what we expect from our own product.
Hmm. Yeah, well, it shows. It shows. Well, it's really interesting. Wish you guys the best in the marketplace. Thanks for joining us on the executive briefing series today. I'm sure our audience will be impressed also. And congrats on all the innovation. Really look forward to seeing that next AI piece come out. It's really going to challenge a lot of folks in the industry to realize in a hurry they're behind. So
Yeah.
congrats.
Super. Well, I really, it was a lot of fun chatting with you, John. And
Awesome.
we look forward to watching the playback of this video sometime.
All right. Well, hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good.